All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. It takes a second for everybody to come into the lobby here from the lobby, so we're going to get started in just a second. And thank you guys for joining us. Happy Thursday. I think we'll have a good one today. We have very prepared guests, so I'm very excited for that. We'll get going in just a second. Got some more people jumping in. We had a great audience today, so I'm excited to see so many people. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. All righty. Wow, it's still filling. Love it, love it. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. As I said, hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today with Grow and Protect Your Photography Business Scaling Smart in 2026. My name is Kyle Porter. I'm going to be the host of today's session, and this is on behalf of Full Frame Insurance. Today, we're going to be talking about what it really takes to grow a photography business in today's landscape. Great photography can get you booked, but scaling successfully requires strong systems, good client pipelines, etc. We've got an awesome guest to talk you through all of that. But before we jump into that, just a couple of quick housekeeping things. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, go ahead and click that Q&A button and you can drop those in anytime. We might answer them live or we'll take those at the end of the session. So please just drop your questions in there and we'll have a live Q&A at the end. And just a reminder that all the information today is for educational purposes. This is not legal advice. This is not insurance advice. We always recommend that you reach out to a licensed insurance provider. Although we have one on the call today, every case is kind of unique. So with that, I'd love to introduce our two guests. First up, Mr. Andy Evans. I'm wondering if you could give us an introduction to yourself, a little background.
Sure, yeah, I can definitely do that. So, hi everyone. My name's Andy Evans. I love photography. I started a photography company 26 years ago called Obio. I had no clue it would get to this big. It was supposed to be just a little hobby, and yeah, it's grown to now we've photographed over 1.3 million homes. So I've seen a lot of photos in my time. And just happy to share some insights that I have. This is a topic that I could talk on seriously for hours and hours and hours. It was hard to condense it to just 15 or 20 minutes. So I'll try my best.
And I love that. Well, thank you again for all the preparation. I'm sure our audience is really excited. We also have our insurance guru, as I call him, Mr. Kyle Jude. Kyle, you want to give us a quick intro on yourself?
Hey, yeah, thanks, Kyle. So I'm Kyle Jude. I'm the program manager with Flip Insurance. So we write insurance products and develop insurance products for individuals like you that are small businesses in the photography and videography space. So I'll love to speak with you about what you need to protect your business and kind of go over all those fun details that'll probably put you to sleep. So.
No, we appreciate you just sharing that. We all got to protect the business, and that's why we're here. But with that, I'm really excited to turn it over to Andy and see what he's prepared for us. So if you want to share a screen, Andy, and give us some awesome thoughts, we appreciate it.
All right, sounds good. Well, take it away, huh?
Yep.
All right. So I've got four bullet points I want to talk about today. So the first one is just kind of the current state of the market, what we're all experiencing, five pillars of sustainable photography business, and then the difference between just being busy and having a scalable business. And then I'll finish it up with kind of five qualities of a top performer. So that's kind of the plan. So the first thing, I want to talk about the current state of the market. So obviously our business is primarily real estate photography, so that's what I'm really deep and focused in. So the real estate market affects our business every day. And the current state is not great. We've got home prices that are up and sales that are down. We've got more in competition than ever. And obviously, agents are feeling a lot of pressure. So I'm going to talk about each one of those and then some ways that we can take these things that are on the surface negative, but also turn them into positives. So, as everyone knows who's shopping for homes, home prices are up. The last 6 years, they've risen by 125 grand, and it just keeps going up. And interest rates have obviously doubled since the nice days of the 3% loans, 6 years ago during COVID. And so, obviously, those home prices going up is going to have an effect on the business, which is bringing the sales of the homes down. So this graph shows the last 10 years. We average kind of around 4 million homes a year being sold and then drops down and then increases, in 2020 But then, as you can see, the last few years have been a lot lower, about, 2 million homes fewer than there was, 5, 6 years ago. And so obviously when there's fewer homes on the market and the fewer homes that are being sold, that means fewer homes to photograph. So that's obviously affecting all the people that are out there photographing homes. The next market condition is competition, and there's a lot of challenges with that. Basically, anyone with a cell phone is your new competitor. So there's a lot of competitors out there, millions actually, if you consider everyone with a phone. Um, Photography is a low barrier to entry, so it's easy for people to get started in photography and to start a photography business. So that is obviously a challenge with competition. We've got people that are always just trying to do it for cheaper and cheaper. There's always going to be someone that's cheaper than you, and so that causes challenges. And a lot of people have the commodity mindset that photographers are a dime a dozen. I can get one whenever I want, and so that causes a lot of loyalty issues. Where if someone has one little problem with a photo shoot, they'll just jump to another photographer. So those are some challenges that we're all facing in this market. However, there's a lot of ways that you can take those and turn them into positives. So how you can win with the competition, the first thing that I feel like you can do is just study your competition. Know who you're competing with locally as well as, regionally or even nationally. Who else, what their pricing is, what their services offer, and always try and beat them out in what you're doing. Always be professional. Don't haggle, with small price. There'll always be someone that wants a cheaper price. But if you stand strong with your professional skills, then you can help combat that competition. Obviously, it doesn't even need to be said, but just deliver awesome quality every time you go out to shoot. Have an awesome experience, everything from communication to the scheduling to, the photography itself and then the final delivery. If you can do that well, then you're going to beat out someone that may has a lower price than you, because you're obviously giving them a better experience. And the key thing about this, especially in real estate, realtors are all based on relationships. They like to shake people's hand. They like to talk to people face to face. And so if you can create that relationship with the clients that you work with, then you're going to be able to beat out a competition that may, have a lower price or that is claiming that they can do everything for you. Those relationships are going to keep you locked into those customers. So the third thing that is kind of the marketing conditions, our agents are under a lot of pressure right now because there's fewer listings on the market. There's a lot of competition between agents, and they're feeling that. And a lot of their agents that are continue to, you know, join the market as realtors, and a lot of people just have higher expectations. The sellers are expecting more and more from the real estate agents. And of course, everyone just wants it yesterday. So there's a lot of pressure that real estate agents are feeling in this. And so when they hire you as a photographer, you need to understand that a lot of times your photography could make or break a deal, a $20,000 commission check that they could get. And we've definitely seen that happen over our 26-year history where, one bad photo shoot or an unresponsive photographer or someone that doesn't show to appointment can cause the agent to lose a listing. And that's a huge paycheck that can be affected by that. So because agents are feeling that pressure, it's important to first know about it, and then some ways that you can win at that is obviously position yourself as part of their marketing team. Don't be viewed kind of like an external person, but like, hey, I'm here representing the agent and their marketing team, and they've hired a professional to do a job to photograph this house, and you'll be able to, you know, be basically not competing with the agent, but basically be on the same team. You want to be thinking how you can make their job easier, not harder. Just be a professional from the way you dress to the way you interact, the way you communicate. Just be a professional. Scheduling fast and delivering fast is really important. A lot of times they're having to photograph the home before it goes on the market, and they want it on the market as soon as possible. So the faster you can deliver those photos, the faster they can get it on the MLS or where they need to be able to get that set up. So, and then obviously understanding the pressure they're in is going to help out a lot. So those are the challenges with a few things that you can win at. Now let's change gears a little bit and talk a little bit about how you can grow your business. So what I've done is I put together kind of 5 pillars that are kind of like core concepts for a sustainable photography business. So quality and service offering, number one. Two, operational efficiency. Number three, having some type of system for client acquisition. Four, your pricing and your profit discipline. And five, your reputation. So I'll hit each one of those and talk about each one of those. But quality, obviously, you're being hired as a professional. Your photo should always stand out and look amazing. Understanding of lighting, angles, color, all that stuff is really important, and how to capture the whole property and also highlight the best features of that home. If they have a pool or a really cool fireplace or a rock wall or something like that, seeing that and being able to capture that with the photos is going to be, going to make the photos all the better. It's important that you understand the requirements from the customer, any expectations that they have, and then just continue to improve your quality, through learning on YouTube or reading blog posts or anything like that. Understanding your camera equipment better, is just going to make you provide better quality services. The second part of that is your service offering. Now, a lot of you on the call may be real estate photographers. Maybe you do wedding photography or other types of photography. But the more services you offer that you have in your belt, the more jobs you can get. So be thinking of additional things such as business or commercial photography, aerial and drone photography, maybe video walkthroughs, 3D tours such as Matterport or Zillow 3D, floor plans. You could do event photography, headshots, other type of industries. So the wider your list of services is, the more jobs that you can get. And some of these require additional equipment, obviously, but a lot of them don't. It's just a matter of learning, For example, video, every DSLR camera out there can do video. And so why not learn how to do video walkthroughs and offer that as an additional service that you can offer? So the next thing is operational efficiency. Okay, we all know time is money. So the more efficient you are at doing your photo shoots and your post processing, you're going to be able to save some money and be able to have a bigger impact for your customers. So some things about that: consistent ordering, having nice scheduling windows. If you have a lot of jobs in a given day, using some type of route planning, you can use Google Maps routing feature to be able to do that for up to 10 homes a day. Or you can use other services like Circuit or Spoke, Route for Me to help plan your routes. If you have clear shot lists with the customer, that also makes you more efficient because you know exactly what they need and you don't have to figure that out while you're on site. Um, Having some editing turnaround times and standards is great. And then just having a standard process for everything you do. The more you do that, the more you kind of look at efficiency, and you're going to be able to make some more profit and also be able to save some money by being more efficient. All right, pillar number three, building a consistent client pipeline. So there's parts that you should be doing that are that everyone should be doing. They're kind of passive, social media post, word of mouth advertising, building a website, exposure through the local MLS, even getting some passive income through doing stock photos is a great way to have consistent revenue coming in. But all of that is kind of passive and not really focused on growing your market. So if you look at also some active or direct approaches to that, then that's going to bring you even more business. So a few ideas. I mean, this I could talk all day on, but here's just a few of them. Direct outreach to customers, visiting broker offices or local events. Make sure you're tracking all your prospects in some type of CRM or Excel file, even, just so that you can follow up with them regularly. Ask for referrals from your customers, and just build those partnerships through photography networks, stagers, lenders, signage companies, just anyone that's in your space and that may not be a direct competitor, but is talking to the same type of people. Those are great people to partner up with. I'm going to take the last bullet point and expand that a little bit because photography networks is such a key way to grow your business and get a lot more shoots. So when you join another photography network, you're going to have consistent work opportunities that are just showing up in your inbox every day. Um, you can spend more time shooting and less time selling, and you actually have a faster path to kind of filling your calendar through these portals. So some of you, here's just some different examples of some different photography portals that you can consider. There's real estate photography portals. Obviously, our company Obio, got to mention that. Shameless plug here.
You have
Uh,
to.
other companies, Virtuance, Planomatic, Snapper, all do real estate photography. You can join their network and they can delegate jobs to you. If you have a 360 camera, you can do 3D home tours for Zillow or Matterport or iSpy 360. You go onto their website, you join as a partner, and then they'll send you jobs that their customers are requesting through their website. Same thing with 2D floor plans like Kubicasa. You can join them, and then they send you jobs from their website of people that want a floor plan. There's other retail and commercial portals. I think it's called Ocus, but they do a ton of photography and they have a big photography network that you can join that they send jobs to do anywhere from restaurant food to, all sorts of different things. There's We Go Look, there's Service Link, and then there's other types of websites that do bidding, such as Thumbtack or Upwork, um, where people submit a job that they need done, and then multiple people are bidding on trying to win that photography job. And obviously, you work with them and you try and get that job. But those are a whole bunch of different places where you can start getting instant revenue to build your business. Uh, Talk real quick about pricing, some common mistakes, people not understanding the cost per shoot. Um, they kind of copy competitors without knowing all the facts. Maybe they give discounts too quickly, no minimums, or they're not charging for all the different add-ons. So some suggestions that we have is just understand your true cost per shoot, know what it costs you to go do a full shoot, including your editing time, your travel time, equipment, stuff like that. You want to set your prices so that you're earning a profit, not just so you're busy doing jobs. Keeping it simple, and then don't just try and copy a competitor. And it's always good to have a minimum job price so that you're not going out there for two photos and getting $50 for that. All right, the last pillar that I wanted to talk about is your reputation and your brand. So, your reputation is basically what walks in the room before you do. It's what you're known as. And so, it's basically how clients describe you when you're not in the room, you could say. And it's really important to have a very positive reputation and brand in your local area so that people can refer business to you and that you can get more jobs. And your brand and reputation aren't just built on just your photography quality, which is a key aspect, but it's just all of your interactions, how you text or call the clients, how you interact with them with communication, your appearance at the photo shoot, how you deliver the final product, even how do you resolve conflicts where maybe something was missed in a photo shoot or they're, surprised by the pricing. How you deal with those interactions are all part of your reputation that you can work to improve. So here's a few tips on how to strengthen that. Obviously, growing your reviews and testimonials from some of your raving fans that just love you. You can create a very recognizable professional presence through your website and your business cards or any other marketing materials that you have. You can create that brand that is promoting yourself. And then also building relationships with your customers. As I mentioned before, real estate is a very relationship driven business. So make sure you have a great relationship with your clients. Alrighty, next got a couple more slides. The second to last one is basically busy versus scalable. Um, as you start getting more and more jobs, you're going to get busy. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the best kind of busy. It's better to be scalable. And so, a busy photographer is going to work long days. They're booking with the referrals that they're getting. The revenue is going to go up and down. Maybe you've got scheduling all over the board. You're going to one city and you're driving 30 miles to this city and back and forth. You don't really have any systems in place. you can definitely be busy, but you may not be effective at doing that. So the other side of that is having a scalable photographer or photography business. And some things about that is you'll have a repeatable client experience. It's going to be the same every time. The customers know it, they expect it, and you deliver a great experience. You got a lot of systems in place, automation where possible, and so that you can be able to grow your business, a lot of times through technology and so forth. Having a predictable pipeline, you're aware of your margins and your profits and what it takes to be successful in your photography business. And another thing that some people don't do as much is they think that they can do everything themselves. And one key part about having a scalable business is being able to delegate, whether that's just the editing part. Maybe you find an editing team that can do that. And so you can just focus on photography. Maybe you have other photographers. Maybe one does drone work and another one does 3D tours and different products and services that you can work with and partner with. So you don't have to do everything basically to have a scalable business. You need to be able to spread that love to multiple people to be able to be successful. All right, last slide I just want to talk about is just to kind of wrap it all up is basically 5 qualities of a top performer. Uh, these are things that we've observed over time, the photographers that have been successful that we work with, and also throughout the industry. And so one of the key aspects is being fast. You're responsive to communication or texts. You schedule quickly, you shoot it, and then you deliver it quickly to the customer. From what we've seen, that's one of the biggest reasons why people leave one photographer and go with another one or leave a company is because they're not responsive enough. So that is a key quality of a top performer. Second one is reliability. Just this week, we had multiple photographers that were an hour late to an appointment, and which upset the real estate agent, upset the homeowner, and it caused the customer to leave and cancel the order. So reliability is really, really important. If you say you're going to be there at this time, you need to be there. You need to show up. Things can happen, and if they are, and you're going to be a little late, communicate that. But you just need to be a reliable person to be able to be that top performer. The third thing is clear communication. Anytime you're talking on the phone or you're texting, make sure that both parties completely understand what you're talking about, so that there's no miscommunication, because that can also cause upset people and lost business. Fourth thing is consistency. Everything that you do, you shouldn't have one great photo shoot one day and then a really bad one the next day. All of your photography quality should be consistent. Your delivery time should be consistent, and that's going to be able to continue to have you gain more customers. And lastly, I feel like the next thing is just a good business mindset. There's a lot of photographers that are just focused on just doing photography, but they're not really aware of the whole business. We talked a little bit about the agent mindset and the stress that they're feeling. Just being aware of your business, the costs that you have, the profit, the time you spend, and everything you do is actually growing your business and your reputation. If you can do those 5 things, we really feel that you can be a top performer and continue to grow and scale in your business. So there you go. That is all the questions or the presentation that I prepared. So
Man.
I'll cut out now, and I know
That,
there's like a
yeah, no,
fire hose.
we have a little bit more to go through before we get to the questions, but I got to say that was the one of the best prepared for one of these that we've ever done.
All right. Well,
So
that's good.
thank you. Please, everybody, drop in your questions here. We've got a pretty big audience, so we'll try to get to them here at the end. But I think a goal, yeah, normally I have to like guide through that. So that was really fantastic. So we'll get to the questions, but we talked about growing your business and things that you can do to scale and all of that, which was phenomenal, Andy. But I want to turn the attention over to Kyle and ask him some questions in terms of protecting that business, right? And everybody
Right.
thinks insurance is boring and blah, blah, blah. I have done this for long enough now that I now realize like insurance can be one of the most important aspects of a business that people just don't even think about. And so I wanted to start with Kyle, if we can bring you in. talk to me about the insurance side of a photography business. Maybe start with the basics, if you would, of what are we talking about? Is that, we've all heard of a general liability or an umbrella policy. Is that where we need to start? Is there more? Kind of give us a rundown, if you would.
So if you're looking for, where you start for an insurance policy, for any small business or individual that's doing business for themselves, you're going to look at your general liability policy. That is your base that you're going to build off of for any insurance and insurance needs. So you start with your general liability that will protect you against, third party bodily injury or property damage claims. A lot of the times it'll have a small um, inclusion in there for medical expenses. So like let's say someone cuts a finger or something like that without any liability or fault, like the insurance policy will pick up and pay $5,000, $10,000, depending on the limits, and just cover that. Which is great because it saves you from a potential lawsuit in the future. Um, and then on top of that, it has things like that damage to rented premises, and that's something that's important for photographers. Is a lot of times you're going to different places, you're renting a studio here to do different types of photo shoots, or you're renting a different location to get a specific type of ambiance for a picture, and so your general liability policy most of the time will cover you for damage to rented premise for a specific limit. And always, as I said, all insurance policies are different, so make sure you do look at your own, but most of the time your GL policy will cover that. And that's just the base. But on top of that, there's so many other needs that come into play. One of the biggest ones for photographers is professional liability insurance. Um, you know, Errors and omissions, like you take a photo shoot and you fail to deliver products to somebody. Your professional liability insurance will kick in and and cover the cost of the photos you didn't deliver or the products you didn't deliver. Um, Another thing that's usually included in a GL policy that's not talked about a lot is it's called products completed operations. And so let's say I'm a photographer and I do a family portrait or something. And I do a frame and it's got a glass front and everything. I pack it up, ship it off, drop it off at FedEx. And in the delivery process, the glass frame is broken. And so my customer reaches in to pull the picture out and they slice their hand open on the glass frame. That's my product that causes an injury. So I could potentially be liable and sued for something like that. So, your
Right.
insurance is really important there. Um, Another big factor to think of is, do you do business online? In today's day and age, the answer is almost always yes. You're collecting customers' information, you're taking a credit card payment over the internet, you have email correspondence. So, cyber liability insurance is probably one of the most important coverages that you can have to protect your business in today's day and age. Because you're, oh, sorry, were you going to say
No, I
something?
was going to say, and this is the one we've talked about at such great length, and I don't know if you know this, Andy, but like say you use a Stripe to process your payments or something like that, or a Square Cash App or whatever it might be. Did you know that there are provisions in those that you are still liable at some points if they get hacked and you inserted the crust or the customer went through you and that's how you got sent into the service. So I like to share that because I ended up after doing one of these getting a cyber liability policy because I was terrified. And the average, what is the average payout, Kyle? It's like, or the average cost of a cyber claim, it's like 300 something thousand dollars or something absurd like that.
So they are in yeah, they can be very, very, very expensive, and it's not just the payout to the customers or whatever. It's the cost of you know reconstructing what happened and finding out how someone got into your system, repairing the systems, like all those factors come into play as well. So yeah, cyber liability is one of those, especially with the continued rise of AI. Um, and that makes it easier to impersonate someone, gain access to someone's system and compromise them. It's just something that I would say anybody that's a small business, even an individual sometimes, like
No, I
get
started
cyber
carrying
liability
the
insurance.
Norton, whatever it is.
Yeah,
LifeLock
yeah.
or whatever.
LifeLock, yeah,
In case
exactly.
I click the USPS lie button, text that we all get.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
and in preparation for this, one of them that kind of like I didn't even think of is you mentioned like losing the memory card, right?
Yeah.
That could happen and you can't deliver to a client. I mean, there could be certain whatever's there. I didn't understand. I didn't know that insurance would come into play in that regard.
Yeah, yeah. People call it different things. Like I think some of the branding on our sites, like failure to deliver coverage, that's your professional liability coverage that'll kick in.
Sure.
Um, and yeah, there's different terminology and different words. Um, I really just kind of scratched the surface with the general liability. I haven't talked anything about probably, the second most important coverage, which is your tools and equipment or inland marine coverage. Because as a photographer, your equipment is your livelihood, and you're carrying sometimes thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment with you all over the place. It's not
Yeah,
just,
I just spoke to a photographer yesterday that lost 15 or $1,800 in stolen equipment out of his car just
yep,
yesterday. I mean, it happens more than we want to admit, for sure.
it really does. I see claims almost daily for someone broke into my car and I left all my equipment in my trunk and they stole everything. Or I was at a photo shoot and someone kicked over my tripod and smashed my DSLR into the ground and broke it. So your tools and equipment coverage, it doesn't just cover you for someone steals your stuff. It covers you for accidental damage as well, um, which is really important. And another thing that is on the rise is people are using drones and aerial photography more and more frequently these days. Everybody wants the sky view of their property when they're listing it, or they want a sky view of, the bride walking down the aisle, and they want that overhead view. And so, most insurance policies, most general liability insurance policies, they have an exclusion for aircraft, automobiles, watercraft, they're all excluded from a general liability policy. So when you're looking at that, you want to make sure that you're getting something that specifically covers drones. Um, and as a program manager here with Flip, we've done a lot of research and reach out to customers and photographers and videographers and just I when I first kind of started working with Flip, I didn't realize how big of a need it was in the industry. And so that's something that we're actually, releasing here on April 1st is the ability for our customers to add drone liability and drone property damage coverage or drone equipment coverage to their insurance policy offerings here. So
I wondered if you were gonna do the breaking news, but yeah, so Full Frame is looking to launch drone coverage here shortly. So definitely keeping because I was wondering about that too. And I think my biggest question for you, Kyle, is how does one navigate like what policies you need and do your needs change? I assume as your business grows. I mean, that was that old thing I always talk to you about is like, well, my business changes, I got to treat it like a health checkup, like my health changes.
yeah,
Just could you give some insight into that as when you should really be looking at your insurance again?
whenever, like it's very similar to, your personal like insurance. I had a big event. I went and bought a car. I need to call my auto insurance and I need to update my auto insurance to make sure that I'm covered. If you have any, major changes in your business, you should probably speak to your insurance agent or log in or call your insurance agent, log in your dashboard, and you should update them on those changes with your business. Um, at a minimum, I recommend doing it once a year when your policy is coming up for renewal. But the most up to date and protected people are the ones that are doing it with those life event changes.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of if bare minimum is what I've heard is think of it yearly. Go, okay,
Yeah,
how much revenue did I do? Did I hire anybody? Did I use subcontractors? Did I buy any new equipment? But again, any of those changes, I overly recommend having done a bunch of these now that it's like, oh yeah, you do need to change it. And it's a simple phone call and it doesn't usually cost you from what you and I have talked about that much more. but it's important because you don't want to be caught in an event and not have the coverage, right?
Oh yeah, I know it's true because depending on the type of equipment insurance or inland marine insurance you have, there's a couple different kinds. There's one called a blanket, which basically will cover you up to a certain insured value. And then there's a scheduled equipment inland marine coverage, and that means that you need to tell your insurance provider every piece of equipment that you have in order for it to be covered. So let's say you go buy a new camera and you fail to tell them, depending on the type of insurance policy you have, you might not be covered at all.
Hmm. Interesting. And so, okay, let's review them one more time. We got general liability. We know that one.
Yeah.
Equipment. You said there's a couple of types. You said inland marine, right?
Inland marine, yeah, inland marine.
Weird name,
Or
but
business equipment. Yeah, it's
yeah,
the insurance term is inland marine.
but it's your equipment stuff. Okay.
Yep.
Professional liability. That's a
Professional
separate one.
liability. Yep, that would
Okay.
be your failure to deliver coverage. So your memory stick breaks and you're unable to deliver photos after a wedding and those types of events. If I mean, hey, technology it fails sometimes, so it's always good to have.
This cyber, the one I'm pushing for like crazy because
100%.
I had a
Yeah, cyber
friend
liability is a must.
I had a friend who answered, or he clicked to something, God knows, and they held his website and his server and everything for hostage, and then he had to hire somebody and get it. Anyway, it's that kind of stuff. So it scared the crap out of me that I had to get it. Any others that I missed in my little recap there?
As your business grows, I know Andy brought up, those scalable businesses, and as you grow, you have a person that does your drone and aerial photography. You have a person that does your blueprints, and if you're hiring employees, a lot of states require you to have workers' compensation insurance. So keep that in mind as your business does grow and you scale. You might be required to carry workers' compensation insurance depending on your state rules and regulations.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you made insurance interesting for us. But it's really important. And I think that that's why we're here. And, of course, if you have any questions, I fully, uh, Kyle said, just answering your question, April 1st, they will be offering, right? Kyle
Yeah, we're
Jude,
launching it April 1st online.
drone
So
coverage.
it is a direct to consumer product. So you can go online to the website. If you currently have full frame insurance, you should be able to add it to your policy through the dashboard as well. And you can always call any of our customer service members. They're all licensed agents, commission-free agents, so they're happy to answer any questions you do have.
Yeah, that's the other shameless plug of full frame is you guys do have that like you can just log on and get it. You don't have to talk to anybody, but you can also call and they're not, commission based, so they're not upselling you on any of that. We're selling you on the fact of get cyber now. Awesome. We'll appreciate that. Before we get to any questions, please drop those questions in the chat or into the Q&A there. I'll try to get to as many as we can here in a second. Andy, any closing thoughts from your presentation before we get to questions? I just thought it was so good. I wanted to ask.
Oh, like I said, it's a topic I could talk about a ton. So I think I covered the basis, but I'm open to any questions anyone has.
We have already had 3 requests for your slide deck. So you're
Okay.
going to have to get that to me and
I
we'll
can
send that
definitely do
out.
that for you.
Yeah, we'll send that out to the attendees in the recap because I didn't even think about to ask for it ahead of time. But let's dive into some questions here. We had a really engaged audience. I really appreciate it. Okay, we had like 3 questions like this, but this one I'll just read because I think it's funny and it goes along with our new coverage coming. It seems like everybody wants drone now, and I don't do that. What do you think I should do? I'm sure you probably hear that a lot. I mean, it's like a new thing, right? It's what if you don't, it seems like what if I don't fly a drone? Do I have to learn it? Should I outsource it? That's what I feel like they're
I
asking.
mean, for me, it's just like if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. I mean, one of the great things about photography is that you get to do a job that you love doing. And that's why so many people do it because it's fun. And so if you don't want to fly a drone, then don't do it. Just know that
Mhm.
you're going to lose a few jobs to some people, but ultimately you're going to be happy. So that's okay. For those of you that are scared about drones, you can buy a very inexpensive one, learn how to fly it, and then upgrade your equipment if you need to. But they are getting more and more popular and in demand. So I think a lot of, we see our orders for aerial continue to climb. And so It's just out there. Drones are becoming so inexpensive that it just makes sense to offer it.
Yeah.
You don't want
Um,
to do it, then don't do it.
Hey, I love that, right? It's not like you have to.
Sure.
But we had a couple of questions about it, so I thought I'd kind of paraphrase it. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like I see them, we all look at houses and we all look at things. Everybody seems to want a drone these days. But you're saying that it's not that scary. Maybe take a shot and see if it is for you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not that scary. If you know how to work a game console or a joystick, you could figure it out. Just go
Gotcha.
take it out in the field and go play around with it till you feel comfortable.
I love it.
There are some
Um,
amazing pilots that can fly through homes and little spaces like this, and they're amazing, but you don't have to get to that level.
Perfect. Okay, let's see. Next one. Uh, what would you say the average turnaround time is for clients?
So, as I mentioned, a lot of these people are waiting for the photos to get put so they can put the listing on the MLS, and so time is so critical. We try and ask our photographers to whatever they shoot during the day, they give it to us that day. We have our editing team work at night, and we deliver the photos usually between like 4 and 7 a.m. So it's usually a 12-hour turnaround time.
Wow.
24 hours is typical. But usually, one day, 1 to 2 days is really, you don't want to go more than 2 days because then people start getting antsy and getting on the phone and stuff like that. So,
Interesting. Wow, that's
obviously, if
quick.
you're doing like a really nice production video and you let the client know saying, hey, this video is going to take, a week or two for doing really nice editing, that's understandable. But I think, everyone wants it yesterday nowadays.
Hmm, interesting. Um, this next one, you mentioned Zillow. I've heard bad things. You still recommend it?
Yeah, and I don't know what bad things have been said, but there are a lot of real estate agents that use Zillow, and they offer a service where you can use their tools to build a 3D tour, and they don't cost. There's no sign up cost. There's no hosting cost, so there's no out of pocket cost for the photographer to offer it, and so you make a little bit more profit compared to other tools like Matterport that charge a monthly hosting fee or other things like that. So we have a lot of clients that want that. They love Zillow and they want something to enhance their listing. And so what Zillow does is if you do a 3D home tour, they kind of move your listing up to the top of the results. And so it gives them more exposure. So it's not just another cool feature on the listing. They actually bump up your marketing presence from that. So they offer a free app that you can download, and you can even do Zillow tours with your phone. You don't even need, a 360 camera or whatever. It's pretty easy to do, and yeah, just something that's available.
So we kind of already talked about this turnaround time. Does weekends affect any of that? We had somebody ask, like, if I take them on a weekend, do you think that they still need to be that kind of turnaround?
I mean, ultimately the faster the better. I think most people understand that, a lot of weekends, a lot of, businesses aren't running during the weekends. They don't have support or they don't. And so if you wait till Monday to get the photos, that's usually okay. Um,
And and that's with your service as well, or do your editors work? They might have
our
different schedules.
our editors work 6 days a week, and so there's a day if they shoot on Saturday night, they may not get it till Monday,
Mhm.
but so that's
Okay.
usually understandable.
This
Uh,
one's, oh,
while
go ahead.
while we're talking about that though, it is good to have some backups though. If you have a client that's urgent, it's like, hey, I'm going to put this on the MLS tonight, have some options where you could either do the editing yourself or another team that could do it that could give you a quick turnaround time. And it's so totally okay to charge for that. Charge a rush fee if you need to. Uh, you don't have to absorb the cost of a rush fee.
Gotcha. Interesting. This one's interesting. This is probably for Kyle. I don't know if you know the answer, but it's about risk, so I figure. Says, should I ask property owners to sign a waiver before I shoot? Would that help?
Actually, that's a very good point because as you're doing businesses, depending on where you're shooting, you might actually have to sign contracts or having your customers sign a waiver. It definitely helps to limit your business. Obviously, I would recommend, contacting, a local attorney in your state, having them review that waiver, making sure that it is legal and you're not putting something in there
Right.
that's against the law. But no, that's a great way to mitigate risk in your business is using waivers.
And I'll push it over to you, Andy. Do you ever hear of anybody doing that?
I haven't heard of that. We do have policies that cover all of our photographers, um, and I'll encourage all of our photographers to get individual policies as well. We've been really fortunate that we haven't had a lot of issues inside the homes or where there needs to be, not a big number of claims or anything like that. But it's always better to have more protection than not enough.
Mhm.
It's not
Um,
something that we currently require. We do have a terms and conditions on our website that talks a little bit about that they agree to when placing the order. So you can kind of put it, if you have an order form, you can kind of put some language in that to protect you somewhat.
okay, let's see. Andy, is probably for you as well. Do you think it's appropriate to charge an extra fee for last minute scheduling requests from agents?
I definitely think so. Yeah, uh, there are a lot of companies that have a rush fee that say, hey, if you want it the same day, then it's completely appropriate to say, hey, it's going to be $50 more or $100 more to get me to drop everything and do it. And a lot of times, a lot of photographers are booked and they may have to cancel an appointment or move it to another day to accommodate someone like that. And it's totally understandable that there might be a fee for that. Um, we have other customers that are enterprise customers that if they say, I want it today and we can make it work, then we usually don't charge them. It's all kind of, the pricing that they pay. But I think it's totally acceptable to say, hey, if you want a rush fee and you want it done today or something like that, then you can definitely charge a fee for that.
Um, well, this one, I won't call out the person, but must not have listened to the presentation closely because I think I know the answer. Does
Oh,
general
let's have you
liability,
answer this then.
no, no, this is actually for
Yes,
Kyle. Does
yes,
general
answer it.
liability insurance, does general liability coverage or insurance cover equipment damage? No. Am I right?
You are right. Yes. So
Okay.
general liability insurance does not cover damage to your equipment. It'll
Okay.
it'll cover damage to a third party's property. If you need coverage for your own equipment, you're looking for inland marine insurance or business equipment coverage. You'll see it labeled different things from different carriers, but the insurance legal terminology is inland marine.
Okay. That's I remember that of that weird name.
Good job. You did good, Kyle.
Well, did you know the answer to that one, Andy?
Yeah, I was hoping that I did, but I got it
Okay. Um, this one's just Andy. I got in a fight. This is interesting. Andy, I got in a fight with a client because they didn't like the pictures. Any words of advice?
right. Ooh, that's a tricky one. We're all in the business of photography, which is very subjective. We have
Mhm.
the same photographer that does the same photos, and you have one client that absolutely loves them and raves, tells all their friends and family, and the same shoot, a customer says they hate all of them, and these are the worst photos they've ever seen. So it is tricky, and we have to take those issues on a case by case basis. We look at the photos and just really say, these are photos that are up to our standards. We're sorry you didn't like them. Sometimes we offer a reshoot for free. Sometimes we offer a reshoot at a discount, saying, "Hey, we can go back out, but we want you to be there to make sure we take them how you want them on the reshoot, and maybe give it to them for half price." So we don't. It's hard to have like a set policy that applies to every situation. We had a customer just yesterday that just wanted just like one or two photos reshot. And we're like, well, we did give you the photos, but we need, and so we came up with a price. It was a fair price, but they paid a little bit for them. It was worth it to go back and reshoot a couple photos.
Yeah.
So it
Uh,
is tricky.
That's I was kind of curious, but you're pretty in tune to it, so I figured I'd ask it. Most of the other questions are either in the presentation or asking, can I have the presentation? Which yes, I think Andy's going to share it with us. So
I
really,
can
really
definitely do
great.
that.
I'm just up for one final question, unless anybody else has any, drop them in there. I'm curious. We all talk about inflation and costs and all of that. Are photographers being able to raise their prices to while still remaining competitive? We know the gas prices are expensive. We know kind of everything's expensive. What are you seeing and what's your prediction, like your crystal ball, Andy, on what photographers are going to be able to charge?
Well, I think that photography is going to raise costs, as you know, just like everything else is going up. And so it's going to be a natural thing. No one likes to pay more. None of us like to pay more for anything.
Mhm.
But, you know, as it's just kind of a natural thing that's going to happen in the industry. And there's also, because there's so much competition in photography, there's always going to be someone that's cheaper than you. So, you know, if you follow those tips to, you know, have the relationship and do a great, awesome job, then they'll keep going with you, even if you're not the cheapest guy on the block.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And, do great work. I think that's what a major message
That's what
throughout
it boils
your,
down to. Yep.
yeah, it was about quality, relationships, consistency, reliability, professionalism, kind of everything. Treat it as a business. It isn't a hobby, it's a business, and you'll win. Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for the presentation, Andy. I think our audience loved it. They stuck around. We barely lost any, had some great questions.
That's good.
So thank you. We will get this posted. We'll get that slide deck sent out. If you're watching this later, we've got it hopefully linked right there for you. And go check out Andy's company and Full Frame. We really appreciate you guys.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for having us.
Of course.
Yes,
Have a
thank
good
you.
one. Take care. Bye bye.